Welcome back to the Enrichment Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Tennova Healthcare. Tennova Cancer Centers are the tops in their field, from early detection and diagnosis to treatment to patient support. No one does a better job of caring for you, and I mean that. They really, truly care for you while you're there. Tennova Healthcare, I am a 2-year cancer survivor thanks to Tennova Healthcare. I can't tell you enough good things about them. Tennova.com is where you can learn more about them for yourself. Tennova Healthcare. All right, back with Jimmy, Bob, and David. This is the quiz show. Going to be kind of quick here. Let's see. First question's on Oregon. That's going to you, Bob. It is a simple right or wrong question. Then you tell me why it's right or wrong. ABC announcer Ed Cunningham was right or wrong to keep saying Tennessee should go for it on 4th down.
He was wrong, and the reason he's wrong, he's an idiot. There were a couple of times when you probably should have. I think Tim Irwin pointed out on your radio show this morning, so I'm going to steal from him. When you were on the plus side of the 40 and it was 24-7, okay, yeah, that's a good time to go ahead and go for it. But he said it from start to finish of the game, and he was just wrong. I mean, you can't. Oregon was scoring on the 90-yard field. So if you gave them the 50-yard field, I guess the argument would have been, well, you weren't going to stop them anyway, maybe you do something. Did anybody see anything in Tennessee's offense that made you think they were going to pick up those first downs? So I'm going to say that was wrong.
Okay, I agree with you. I think that was crazy. I mean, it's the difference. We all praised Tennessee a few years ago under Lane Kiffin when they played close at Florida. And Urban Meyer said he was not playing to win. He was playing to keep it close. Yeah, and he did. And it didn't look bad on the scoreboard. 59-14 beats 89-14. I think Ed Cunningham lost his mind.
Remember when Derek Dooley went for it on 4th against Alabama early in the second half, and people
turned the game around?
All right, time for a Florida question. David, this is yours. Over-under question. Florida has the #1 rush defense in the SEC. They've allowed just 100 yards combined to Toledo and Miami of Florida, who has a pretty good running back. Will Tennessee rush for over or under 100 yards against Florida?
I'm going to say under from what I've seen. I'd love to say over. Maybe the guys will step up and take the challenge and really work hard and be able to get over 100 because it's going to be really important. But typically when we see the Florida-Tennessee game, who wins the game? The team that rushes for the most yards. So it's a different style of defense they're going to attack. They're not going to sit there and read. That's typically harder to block against. But just from what we've seen so far, I cannot say over.
And they're not going to be worried too much about Tennessee's vertical passing game, which means they're really going to be pinning their ears back for the run game.
Yeah. All right. The key to that's going to be how well do they run in the first half. Tennessee got 178 yards yesterday. It looked like they rushed for 178 yards.
Most of that was in the fourth quarter.
92, 90 or something came in the fourth quarter. All right. Now we turn to the NCAA issue that's blown back in over Tennessee. A Yahoo Sports report this week had Western Union receipts showing that Tyler Bray and Maurice Couch had received money from Runner for agents. Mo Couch put up an apology on Twitter earlier this week. I want to apologize to everyone from my family, teammates, and Vol Nation. I think there's a class move. I think obviously it tells you that he did it, but I also think that was a class move, and I think he deserves some credit for doing that. The other clown, I should just say the clown involved in this, Couch isn't a clown. The other clown hasn't said a word, a peep, an apology, nothing. Maybe he hurled a beer bottle somewhere. Jimmy, Maurice Couch was deemed ineligible for Oregon, probably going to be out for the rest of the year, you would think. 1 to 100, where do you set the worryometer? For Tennessee, where do you set the worryometer, 1 to 100, 100 being the worst, in terms of this NCAA stuff right now?
Gosh, if 100 is the most worrisome, I'd go at about 20. And here's why. Tennessee, I don't believe had any knowledge of this. All right, so I don't think they're going to nail them for that. Now, what's interesting is that typically if there's an ineligible player, you vacate the wins, all right? But on the other hand, Alabama had an ineligible player too. That's going to work in Tennessee's favor because they're not going to strip Alabama of their national championship.
They've stripped other teams of national championships.
You think you think Mike Slide's going to let that happen? I'm going to say because Alabama was in trouble, it's going to help Tennessee.
Interesting.
So the Crimson Tide
rolled. Conspiracy theory.
Yes, absolutely. I've been talking to Will West.
I think one thing that would help Tennessee is the fact that the NCAA's just got so many things on the plate. They're going to do what they did with Manziel and say, "Oh gosh, if we open this door, all these skeletons are going to fall out. Let's just slap them on the wrist and move on." That could work in Tennessee's favor. But in terms of vacating wins, they vacated wins from a lot of good programs over the last few years, football, basketball.
I don't remember them not vacating when there was an ineligible player,
Right.
but I don't remember them punishing a team that had no knowledge either. Typically,
Southern
those,
Cal knew. They had a coach that knew.
right? Ohio State, there was knowledge. There was knowledge of these other vacated situations. So
Well,
that's why it's interesting to see where this one goes.
Memphis with Derrick Rose. I mean,
But the
NCAA cleared him.
I know, but they came back and said, we have evidence somebody else might have taken the test,
Yeah.
and Memphis did nothing about it. So they had some knowledge and didn't pursue it.
The other thing that might be a concern in all this, it's just another nightmare from the Lane Kiffin era. Now a book's come out by Armin Katayan and another writer that's talked to Lacey Pearl Earps, Perps, whatever her name is. She's gone. She was the Vol hostess that went across state lines. Now they're saying they were paid, given money by the coaching staff to one person was given money to entertain, another person given money to go over there. It's only $40. But if the NCAA decides to get back into it, it could be just to hammer Lane Kiffin, or they could look at this and say, you're on probation already. There's an agent paying players. We've got this thing's come out. It's just more nightmare. You don't want to deal with it. Worryometer 20. I'll set mine about 70. But
Well, I wasn't counting the Lacey Earl stuff.
Okay.
I was going on couch.
Will that go up 25?
Yeah, we're at 50 now.
All right, I'm 70 because I just like to be prepared. All right, when we come back, we're going to be joined by Bobby, Sterling, Chuck, and Vince. We're going to talk about positives and negatives from yesterday's game. Good luck to Sterling and Bobby coming up with positives. Come on back.
You are watching East Tennessee's first and only year-round sports talk show on television.